and welcome back to 996 The Howl. So before we hit the free agency day, which is Wednesday, July 13th, just want to do a quick recap of a draft, a very important draft for the Coyotes, their Stanley Cup, as the Coyotes marketed themselves. Great to see, the CEO, Javier Gutierrez, and the owner, Alex Morello. They're on the podium with Bill Armstrong and the other scouts. It was just a good moment for the Coyotes. And, like Bill Armstrong, I said, it took a lot for the Coyotes to get here, a lot of pain, and they gave up a lot to get to this moment. And they relished in the moment, and a lot of good picks coming out of it, and a lot of, an amount of picks as well. So I already talked about Logan Cooley in my previous video. Please watch that video if you haven't already. Small, skilled centerman with deception in his game, could grow into a number one centerman for the Coyotes. That's their hope. And sort of like a Braden Point, Mitch Marner, Clayton Keller type player. He's a centerman. At 11th overall, they made a trade to get, Connor Geekie. This trade involved their 27th pick, their 34th pick, and their 45th pick. Now, the 34 and 45th were second-round picks. Their first-round pick, the number 27, was the Carolina pick from the Dvorak trade with Montreal because, of course, Montreal got the number one pick overall. So that pick was protected, transferred to Carolina, and so we traded a 27, 34, 45 to San Jose for their 11th pick overall. That 45th pick was a second-round pick in the OEL and Garland trade. So that trade's still providing dividends for the team, but basically we traded Dvorak for Connor Geekie. If you want to look at it like that, the 34th pick was the Coyotes' own second-round pick. So obviously it's complicated than just Dvorak is turning into Geekie. But at the end of the day, you can say trading OEL and Garland gave us Gunther, gave us a pick to acquire Geekie as well with the Dvorak trade. And so we get Connor Geekie, who's a big centerman, who probably Bill Armstrong would have wanted to project higher, but he fell a bit from the midseason rankings to the final rankings. A little bit of a reach, but there's rumblings that Columbus was going to take him anyways at the 12th position. So if that is true, then they got him right at the perfect spot. But he was projected to go into late teens, maybe early 20s. 6'4", 203 pounds, a lot. Pretty much all of these draft picks are over 6 feet tall, unfortunately, except for Logan Cooley. He's a skilled playmaker, high compete level, Geekie is. He plays on the PK. He's a pretty good defender off the puck as well. But, some of the knocks against him are his skating, the pace he plays with, and he doesn't play with that deception and doesn't have that skill set to make creative plays in the offensive zone. He's more of a north-south, big-bodied guy who still has pretty good offensive awareness to make good passing plays to his teammates. Doesn't really create high-danger shooting attempts for himself, but he has a lot of high-danger passing attempts and high-danger passing completions. So a bit of a big-bodied centerman playmaker. Bill Armstrong said he hopes that he grows into a second-line centerman. So already you would hope Bill Armstrong would say a number one centerman, but, who knows what's going on in Bill Armstrong's mind. But hopefully it turns out to be a good second-line centerman. We were hoping Barrett Hayden would turn into a number one centerman, and unfortunately, either that's going to take a long time or not happen at all. So I would say Cooley is ahead of Hayden in the, projection and ceiling. Maybe Hayden and Geekie are similar types. We'll see what happens with Hayden during the summer. Gets his new contract, gets a bigger role. It'll be his first official cemented NHL season, whereas last season he spent time in Tucson and was also injured. So hopefully Hayden develops more and gets a higher ceiling, but it looks like Geekie will be maybe a Barrett Hayden or better than Barrett Hayden type level of player. The comparables The Athletic decided to use was Dylan Strome for Connor Geekie, and we all know how that turned out. Moving on, they also made a trade to acquire Maverick LaMuro. I'll say LaMuro. His first name's Maverick. It's a pretty nasty first name. 6'7", 199 pounds. Huge. huge. One of the biggest top prospects to be selected in the draft. They got him at 29, so they traded their 32nd pick, which was the Colorado pick in the Kemper trade, to Edmonton to jump 3 spots. They acquire Zach Kassian along with 2 future picks. I made a Zach Kassian video just the other day. You can watch that as well. The 2 picks are in 24 and 25. One of them is a second, and one of them is a third-round pick. So for Darcy Kemper, we get Connor Timmins, Maverick LaMuro, and we still got that third-round pick in 2024 because Colorado won the Cup. So that Kemper trade still paying dividends as well, and it's still not finished, that trade tree. So it's good that we have another asset out of that trade coming up in 2024. But for now, we get a huge, big D-man, right-handed defenseman who teams love right-handed defensemen. Good for the power play, good for breakout passes and what have you. He plays really hard and is a physical presence on the ice. So that's what I like too. And a lot of these other D-men, they're huge. They're big bodies. They're pretty skinny. So a lot of these guys got to fill out a bit more. You like to see over 200 pounds if you're over 6 feet tall. But yeah, LaMuro plays very physical. We need more physical and giant D-men on the back end. You know, with Bill Armstrong coming from the St. Louis Blues, him and his partner, Doug Armstrong, built a very big blue line and intimidating blue line. And that's what I hope the Coyotes go towards, because we have no big D-man currently on the roster. Like I mentioned in my free agent video, I hope they go out and acquire a big D-man for the roster this upcoming season. So like, you know, a good Branson-type monster defenseman. Moving on, we get into the second round and start getting into some European picks. So Artyom Duda, 6'1", 181 pounds. He's a good two-way defender, smooth skater, and good passer. You'll see a lot. There's no blurbs, no positive and negatives with most of these picks because, you know, they're later in the rounds. Not a lot of scouts and hockey commenters waste their time after the first round. So take it as you will. For these types of players, you want to see what their size is, their position, and where they're going to play next season. Duda, I believe, is Russian. He plays in the Russian League, KHL. People were a bit skeptical about drafting Russians. We'll see how it turns out. We have still one Russian prospect, Ilya Fedotov, not to be confused with Ivan Fedotov, who is having border issues, who's a Minnesota Wild prospect. But Ilya Fedotov seems to be, you know, not having visa issues. He's projected to be at the development cap. Why did I say it like that? The developmental camp this Friday in Arizona. A lot of these players are going to be there except for Duda, which was a glaring omission, but everyone else drafted is going to that developmental camp in Arizona on Friday. So Ilya Fedotov will be there, so he doesn't have visa issues. Not sure why Duda's not going. Not going to create speculation there. Moving on in the second round, Julian Lutz plays in the German league. 6'2", 190 pounds. He's a winger. He's good at creating offensive gaps and finding that trailing teammate. That's what the new NHL is, if you haven't noticed already, is the puck carrier gains the entry zone in the offensive zone, stops up, either makes a skillful play and passes it to a teammate trailing behind the play where he has open ice and the defenders are focusing on the puck carrier and totally miss that trailing guy coming into the zone. The same scout who wanted Bill Armstrong to select Lutz was the same scout who told Bill Armstrong to acquire Vejmelka in free agency and draft J.J. Moser in the 2021 draft last summer. So pretty good, this scout. I believe his last name is Fowler. He has a good track record so far with Vejmelka and Moser. That's just a little fun tidbit. Hopefully Lutz, you know, performs well at the wing position and, you know, develops well. You're looking at sort of a Lawson Krause type player with Lutz with a big frame. He's a winger, maybe more offensive IQ than Lawson Krause, who's more of a north-south type of guy. Then you got Matika, right wing. I believe he's Finnish, 6'3", 187 pounds. He's got to beef it up a lot. He's got quick hands and a heavy release, and he's committed to the NCAA next season. I like that. I'm starting to prefer that our prospects play in the NCAA, just like Logan Cooley is. It's just a good development, league, and it helps prospects round out their game. Their coaches like for them to focus on the defensive part of their game, develop their skill and awareness when they don't have the puck. That's one of the main focuses in the NCAA, as well as, flourishing offensively that you hope your prospects develop into. But yeah, a Finnish guy who's committed to the U.S. college route next year. Then you go back to D-man with Langlois, probably mispronouncing that. It's a Quebec name. He played in the Quebec Junior Hockey League. 47 points in 60 games. That's pretty good. The Quebec Junior Major Hockey League is a high offensive league. So, whenever you see a high point totals, it's a very high scoring league. So take that with a grain of salt. 6'1", 185 pounds, picked in the 3rd round. And then you got Morden, who's a D-man, 5th round. You're getting to the, into the weeds over here. 6'5", 203 pounds. Then Zuber, whose first name is Maximilian Zuber. It's a great name, 6'3", 191 pounds, 6th round pick. And then their final pick of the draft was Zelinka. He's Slovakian, but playing in the German league, and he's going to play in the United States Hockey League next season for Sioux Falls. So, I like when these players come overseas and play in, local leagues, whether it's Canadian, Ontario League. Geekie's in the Western Hockey League, where Gunther currently plays. I wonder if Gunther will make the jump to the NHL Coyotes, the NHL Arizona Coyotes this upcoming season. I don't think so. I think he'll play the 9 games tryout, but the Coyotes really don't need him or want him to play. Hopefully he's really good, and if he's really good, they won't put him on the team, because obviously the team is looking for one more high draft pick next draft. And the other side of the coin is Gunther was like almost a goal per game player in the Western Hockey League last season. He was way over a point per game player. He was great in the playoffs, and then he got injured and missed a Memorial Cup, and then his team lost in the Memorial Cup tournament. So maybe Bill Armstrong and coaching staff say, hey, Gunther, go back to the Western Hockey League and win that Memorial Cup, and then the year after that, you'll join the Coyotes. We'll see. There's no rumblings of whether Gunther is going to be on the team next year or not. I think he won't be, but like I said, he already performed really well at the WHL. But obviously, Geekie will go back to the WHL. He plays for Winnipeg, for their team. So Geekie will obviously have another year in the WHL. And then Logan Cooley is who I'm trying to say is also committed to the NCAA next year. So those are the picks. They picked 5 forwards. Logan Cooley's not here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Cooley's 5. And then 5 defensemen, 10 overall players. They're all going to be at the developmental camp on Friday in Arizona, except for Duda. And hopefully these prospects turn out. I'm sure some of them you won't even hear ever again. That's just how drafting and prospects work. It's about the amount of darts you have on the board. Your first couple picks should be really good, and then it starts to get a bit into the weeds here. Just like LaMuro. Even though he's drafted in the 1st round, do not expect like a Chikrin type defender quality guy. A lot of people say he's going to project to a 3rd pairing defenseman. His highest ceiling possible is a top 4 D-man. But, keep expectations low after Geekie, I would say. And hopefully there's some surprises, just like J.J. Moser was a surprise for us last draft. So hopefully one of these guys could take a step immediately and help improve the team. Maybe one of these guys goes to the Tucson Roadrunners, and we hear from him over there. Maybe he gets called up if there's an injury, just like J.J. Moser, like I mentioned him a couple times now. But that's it. If you're a European viewer, watcher, and you know some of these guys way more than me, feel free to comment. I know there are some Czech viewers who would always talk about Vejmelka. Now that Vejmelka's on the Coyotes, they're so proud that Vejmelka made the jump. So maybe there's another type of viewer or player here they drafted that you're a big fan of that we should pay more attention to. I saw some rumblings about Lutz, but not too much. We'll see if that's just Coyotes bias or if he really is a bit of a steal in the draft. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Like I said, we got free agency Wednesday. We got a lot of restricted free agents that should be signing their new contracts, and Krause, Hayden, and Fisher. So I have videos on all of them as well. So thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.